All right, thank you so much for joining me. This is Gurpal Singh from Gursur Education, and as you all know that the current series of video lecture is regarding mathematical reasoning, and we have delivered you so many lectures regarding that. The recent lecture has been regarding ratio and fractions. We have gone through from number series, letter series, blood relations. After that, we have covered the topics regarding speed, time, and distance and averages. These all these things are already been covered. So now in this video lecture we are going to talk about proportion and percentages. Specifically their name has been written in the examination, but I must tell you that going through this and each and every topic in the mathematics reasoning, that gives you extreme kind of knowledge which can be extremely beneficial for you for qualifying not even the net JRF but any examination for whichever you are appearing for. Okay, so in this video lecture the structure is same. You all know our study system. Okay, so first of all we deliver you the lecture regarding the basics of a specific reasoning chapter, and after that the some questions are explained in detail so that you become very aware of how different things can be applied. So this lecture is going to be very detailed lecture in which first of all basic concept shall be taught, and immediately after that the explanation of so many questions shall be given to you. So I hope you are ready. So the prerequisites of this video lecture are all the previous lectures which we have already delivered to you via WhatsApp. So you can see these video lectures, and only after watching these video lectures you are suggested to see this particular video lecture. So I hope you would enjoy this. Okay, so now I'm just going to share the screen and I'm going to teach you a concept regarding percentages and proportions. All right, so now I believe that you would be seeing the screen shared by me for the concept regarding proportion and percentage, and this is going to be the next in the series of mathematical reasoning which we have started a few days back. You would be experienced that we have already delivered you so many lectures regarding number series, then letter series, blood relations, and after that we have gone through from coding, decoding, and after that time, speed, time, and distance we have covered. We have already covered the ratio as well. Okay, ratio and fractions as well. All these things have already been covered by me. So if you have gone through from the ratio, only then you shall be able to understand this concept like proportion and percentages further. And if you understand today's lecture, only then you shall be able to understand regarding profit and loss, which is the upcoming lecture series. Okay, so just going to show you what is there. First of all, I shall clear your concept regarding proportion. I shall tell you what is the proportion about, and after that what are the different kinds of formulas you have to understand in order to solve the proportions, and after that we shall be talking about a percentage as well. Okay, so in this video lecture first of all we are going to talk about a proportion. So what is proportion? The equality of two ratios is called a proportion. So I told you that if you have understanding regarding ratios, only then you shall be able to understand regarding proportion. So it just tells and it reads as the equality of two ratios is called proportion. What does it mean? Ratio I have taught you yesterday. Okay, ratio is simply like A ratio B. A ratio B. Okay, so this is A ratio B. And this line is saying the equality of two ratios. So the first ratio is A ratio B, and let the second ratio be the first ratio is A ratio B and the second ratio is M ratio N. Okay, so if these two are equal, only then it is said that these are in proportion. Okay, so it just says that if two ratios are equal, 2 ratio 3 or 2 ratio 3, if these are equal, only then it is said that they are in proportion. So its example has been given. If A ratio B is equal to C ratio D, then this is known as proportion. So proportion is just the equality of two ratios. And how we write this? We just write if A ratio B is equal to C ratio D, then we write it as A ratio B, then two ratios, then C ratio D. This equation is called the proportion. So I hope you would have got the idea. If two ratios are equal, then they are said to be in proportion. So when this is the situation, we can say that A, B, C, D are in proportion. Okay, so this is known as proportion. Okay, so it has four terms included in these. Okay, so this is A, this is B, then this is ratio, then C, then ratio D. Okay, so this is, you can see that the two terms have been given in extreme end, like A is given in the left hand side and D is given in the right hand side. These two terms, the first term and the last term, these are known as extremes. So what these are known? These are known as extremes. Okay. And the terms which are not in either of the end, like this is B and C, they are known as mean terms or middle terms. So this thing you have to understand only. Okay. So this is that is the important thing you have to cover and you have to go through. So I think you would have got the idea. I'm again going to tell you right now here. So if A ratio B is equal to C ratio D, that means they are in proportion. And if they are in proportion, we can write these like that. A ratio B ratio C ratio D. We can write these as well. And the last terms, the first and the last term are known as extreme terms. Extreme terms, and these terms which do not become the part of any of them, they are known as mean terms or the middle terms. So these are just that. Okay, extreme terms and mean terms. Okay, so now it is the property of a proportion that the multiplication of mean term is always equal to multiplication of extreme term. So I'm going to explain you in this way. If A ratio B is ratio C ratio D, then we can write these as A divided by B is equal to C divided by D. We can write these ways as well. So just if we apply the process of cross multiplication, we can see that A ratio D should be equal to B ratio C. So B ratio C were the mean terms and A multiplication D were the extreme terms. So we can easily make the conclusion that product of the mean terms is always equal to product of the extreme terms in case of a proportion. So this thing you have understood by me in this specific lecture right now. So I hope you would have got the idea regarding proportion. Now I'm just going to move somewhat further, going to tell you more about proportion. So proportion has some parts. Okay, it has some parts. So if it has been given like A ratio B is equal to C ratio D, then we can easily write it like A ratio B, then ratio C ratio D. Then the last term, that term B, D, okay, the last term is known as fourth. This is known as fourth proportional. Okay, so this is, you have to understand, this is known as fourth proportional item. So it has been given that if A ratio B is equal to C ratio D, then D is called the fourth proportional to A, B, C, D. So in this way, we can easily solve that. If we have been given three items, then we can easily find the value of the last one. Okay, because A divided by C, A divided by B is equal to C divided by, if the value of D has not been given, we can assume it to be X. We can easily find the value of X if these three have been given. This is why it is known as the fourth proportional to the given items. Then what is the third proportional? If you are given A ratio B is equal to B ratio C, here you have to understand that the middle terms are same. Okay, B is B. So if this kind of situation is there, like M ratio N is equal to N ratio C, like this have been given, then this C is known as the third proportional. This is known as a third proportional to whole of the ratio. Okay, so if it is given A ratio B is equal to B ratio C, then C is called the third proportional to A and B. So this is all about that. You have got the information regarding first proportion, then second proportion, and this is the last one. This is the mean proportion. What is mean proportion? The mean proportional between A and B. If only two items have been given, okay, only two items have been given in the question. You have been asked to find their mean proportion. This is very simple. Just make their product and do the under root of that. If you do that, you can easily find their mean proportion. It is all about that. So I think this was completely the concept regarding proportion. You would have understood by this now. So just the equality of two ratios is called proportion. Okay. Moreover, if A ratio B is equal to C ratio D, we can write it like these, and these are known as proportions. The final terms are known as extreme terms, and these terms which do not make the part of any of that, these are known as middle term or mean terms. And most importantly, it is the property of the proportion that the product of means is always equal to product of extreme. And if we do that, we can easily find the value of any item. Then fourth proportional, you would have understood, if A ratio B is equal to C ratio D, then D is known as the fourth proportional to ABC. What is third proportional? If A ratio B is equal to B ratio C, then C is known as the third proportional to A and B. And what about mean proportional? This is simple. If you have been asked to find the mean proportion between A and B, then you can easily find that by multiplying A by A and B and finding their under root. So it is all about that. So now going to move further regarding the percentage. Percentage is very simple. Okay, this is just 100th part of any item. So if I am asking you to find the percentage of X, okay, percentage of any value, like percentage of a term X. If I am asking you to find 30% of X, what you would write? You would simply write 30 divided by 100 multiplied by X. So this is 30% of X. So if you have got 250 marks, okay, you have got suppose I'm just taking a hypothetical example. If anybody has received 250 marks out of 500 marks, and if we are trying to find their percentage, how we shall find? We shall just write the number obtained and divided by total numbers, and multiply this by 100. And by doing this, we can easily find the percentage of the given question. So in this case, 250 divided by 500 multiplied by 100, we can easily find that this is 50%. So this is the concept of a percentage. Here is the percentage simply refers to the specific proportion expressed in terms of a percentage. Okay, so if there is any value like 1000, and if I have to find it's a 75%, what I have to do? I have to multiply this value with 75 and divide by 100. Then I shall easily get its percentage, and that comes to be and that can come to be anything like that comes to be 750. So in this way, this is the concept of a percentage. There is none kind of a specific formula, but one or two thing I must tell you. Okay, so if you make addition, so suppose a value is 100. If something has a value of 100 and you wish to make addition of 15% in that, then what shall be the new value? New value shall be equal to X plus 15% of X. So that shall be the new value. So what I have taught you, suppose in the question it has been given to you that you have to make addition to a value, you have to make addition to a value, then what you would do, you would simply write that value, and you shall make the addition sign, and after that you shall add the percentage given in the question. Like if you have been asked that you have to add 15% of x to the value of x, you have to write x plus 15% of x. So in this way the new value can be arrived at. And in case you have been given that you have to reduce some specific percentage from a value, you have to reduce a percentage, from a value, then what you have to do, you just have to write the equation like x minus any percentage whichever is given. Suppose this is 10% of x. So in this way you can find the new value. So here I have given you the formula for finding the new values of a value after addition or a reduction or subtraction. Okay, so in this way you can find these new values, otherwise this concept is not going to be this much difficult. So I think you would have got the idea regarding proportion and percentage by now. So the more clarity would be there only if you solve so many questions and so many practicals. In this video lecture, we are going to explain you so many questions so that your concepts regarding proportion and percentage becomes more and more clear. So I'm just going to show you the questions, and after that I shall explain these one by one in the complete detail so that you get the complete idea of what we are going to do in this lecture. After we explain you all the things, and after that we shall provide you the PDF in which some questions shall be there, you are supposed to ask, and you are supposed to practice a lot. So before starting this, I must tell you the probability of a question being asked in the examination from this specific chapter is 50% only. We are never sure that the question can be asked or cannot be asked, because we have already gone through from number of concepts. Like I have already explained, these were number series, letter series, coding, decoding, blood relationship. After that we have gone through time, speed, time and distance. Okay, so these things we have already covered, issue we have already covered. So all these things have already been covered, and these covered the most important part from the mathematical reasoning. But these kind of chapters like ratio and proportion and percentages involves, or they have the probability of only 50% being asked in the examination. So as I have already cleared you the concept regarding proportion and percentage, I am moving further to show you some question, and I am going to explain you in complete details. So the first question is this. Okay, it seems to be typical one, but I must tell you, solving these kind of question becomes very easy for you. Okay, how these can become easy? It has been given that if 30% of A is equal to 0.25 of B, okay, is equal to 1/5 of C. So these things have been given to you. It seems to be somewhat difficult. Again, I am reading this. If 30% of A is equal to 0.25 of B is equal to 1/5 of C, then find A ratio B ratio C. This is the question. How to solve? I must tell you, this is very easy to be solved out. Okay, so you just have to write again like this. We have been given, you just have to write here the sign of implies that. So you can write like, if 30% simply means 30 divided by 100. If 30 divided by 100 A, because A should be in multiplication, of always stands for the sign of multiplication. If 30 divided by 100 of A is equal to 0.25, 0.25 we can simply write like 1, we can write this like 25 divided by 100 multiplied by B. So if this value is equal to this value and this is equal to 1/5 of C, So this is the complete equation which have been given to us. Okay, so this has been given. We can reduce this further to the simplest term because I have already taught you the concept of how to reduce any value to its simplest terms. So now what we have to do, we can simply write like, we can cut these zeros. Further, there cannot be any kind of division, but 100 comes in the table of 25. So we can write here like 1 divided by 4. So we are left with these values, 3a divided by 10. Then we are left with 1 divided by 4, because 1 if multiplied by b, it shall produce the value of b. That's why I'm writing here b. Then if 1 is multiplied by c, then it should produce the value of c. That's why I'm writing here c divided by 5. So we are left with these values. Okay, so we are left with these value, and we assume that each value is equal to k. K is a constant, and we are assuming that in these kind of question you can assume anything. So we assume that k is the constant and this is equal to all the values. Then how can we can find the individual values? So we know that 3a divided by 10 is equal to k. Then we can find the value of a. A is equal to 10k divided by 3. We can write it like that. Write it like that. Okay. So in case of b, so that is the value of a. I'm writing here. I'm writing the value of a here. Okay, a is equal to 10k divided by 3, and after that we have to find the value of b. How we can find b? We know that this is b divided by 4, and b divided 4, we assume that that should be equal to k as well. So we can write that b is equal to 4k. So we can find the value of b, that comes to be 4k, because we have multiplied it by a constant. In the same way, we can write that c divided by 5 should be equal to k. Then we can find the value of c, and that comes to be 5k. Okay, so now we know the values of a, b, and c. We can easily write these in a ratios: a ratio, b ratio, c. So if I'm writing a ratio, b ratio, c, I can easily write 10 divided by 3k ratio 4k ratio 5k. In this way, I can easily write that. Okay, in this way, I can easily write that. So now 3 is in division. This is the denominator of the first item, that was a. So for the purpose of making the both in proportion, we shall take the LCM of 3, and we can easily find their proportions. Okay, so how we can write this? We can easily write like 10k ratio. Here this is 4. Just in order to make 3 in a denominator of a 4, we can multiply 4 by 3. We can write like 12k, and we can write in the same way, we can write 15k. And how 15k is arrived at? You just have to multiply 5 by 3, so that 3 becomes in a denominator of 5 as well. So we are left with the value of this. When we are left with the value of this, we all know that that should be equal to 0. And if now this 3 is taken to right hand side, then we are left with only this value. This is 10k ratio 12k ratio 15k. So k is constant in all. We can cut this easily. This is similar in all the figures. So we are left with 10 ratio 12 ratio 15. And this has been given in option A. We shall select it as our possible answer. So in this way, I have explained you in a very detailed manner, but I must tell you, once you go through from some of the practicals, then you can easily find these kind of questions within the time frame of 1 minute only. So it was in complete and detailed manner. I hope you would have understood this question. Even if you have not understood, by going through one or two watchings, then you can easily find the solution of these kind of questions. Now going to move further. If you are solving more and more only, then we shall be able to understand the concept and subject matter. Just going to move further, going to tell you how the equations, mathematical equations are made. And I have already made you aware of the thing that making a mathematical equation is the only purpose of yours. Once the mathematical equation is arrived at, you can easily find the answer of any of the question. So what you should do, your purpose should be to find the mathematical equation. So in this question, how this can be made? So it has been given, find the fourth proportion to 3 and 6. I have already given you information regarding the fourth proportion. What was the fourth proportion? I've told you that if A ratio B is equal to C ratio D, then this D is known as fourth proportional. Fourth proportion. Okay. So in this case, three values have been given. We can easily assume these A, B, and C. We can write these like A to ratio 3 is equal to 6 ratio D. And in this way, we can easily find the value of fourth proportion. We can write this ratio as 2 divided by 3 and 6 divided by D. By taking D to the left hand side and 2 divided by 3 to the right hand side, we can easily find the value of D, and that D shall produce you the value of fourth proportion to 2, 3 and 6. So how we can find this? 6 can easily be divided with the table of 2, and we are left with 3. 3 multiplied by 3 should be equal to 9. 9 has been given in option C, so we shall take it as our possible answer, and we shall solve this question in this way. So that I hope that was very easy for you to understand. You have to see this video lecture again and again. First of all, you are supposed to go through from the concept of ratios, which we have delivered to you yesterday. Only then it is suggested to go through from this video lecture. It was not the last one. Number of questions are yet to come, by which your understanding shall become much better. Okay, so now I'm just going to move further to the question number 3, and I'm going to solve it in a explained manner. So it has been given, if 2 ratio 9 ratio x ratio 18, what does it mean? What does this equation mean? This equation simply means a proportion, as I have already explained you. This is known as a proportion. Here the double ratio sign is always referring to the equality sign. Okay, so if it has been written 2 ratio 9 double ratios x ratio 18, that simply means then that we can put the equality sign at the place of the double ratios. We can write this equation as well, and if we can write in this way as well, we can easily make its further elaborated form, like 2 divided by 9 and x divided by 18, and once this is arrived at, you can easily find the value of x. You can take this 18 to the right hand side, and the value of x shall be arrived at. So if you take 18 to this side, you can easily cut that 18 with the table of 9, then you are left with the value of 4, and that value is the value of x. So you can find that 4 has been given in option C. We shall select it as our possible answer as the value of x. So in this way, you can find the questions regarding proportion. These are very basic questions. Okay, advanced questions are yet to come, and I am going to explain further and further till your concepts are extremely clear. Now just going to move further. This is question number 4. This question is saying that the salaries of A, B, and C are in ratio 2, 3, and 5. These are the salaries are in 2, 3, and 5. So there are 3 values which are in the ratio 2, ratio 3, ratio 5. If the increment of 15%, 10%, and 20% are done to their respective salaries, find the new ratio of their salaries. Okay, you are not given with the actual values. You are not given with the actual values. You are given with the values in the ratios only. and moreover the increment has been given in percentage only. These kind of questions are somewhat difficult. How? Because you are not given with the actual value, but you are very blessed that you can easily make any kind, you can easily assume any kind of values to be the actual value, because you have been given the complete ratio. This ratio is 2, 3 and 5. In this ratio their salaries are in this ratio. So first of all, what you have to do, you can is you assume any value, and what you have to assume, that should be very easy. Your assumed value should be very easy. Okay, you can assume that the total of the salaries should be 100. Total of the salary should be 1. First of all, assume this in mind, and then divide this in the ratio given. Then you shall be able to find that the salaries of A and B should be 20, and that should be 30, and that should be 50. Now you have the actual values. What I have taught you right now in the questions, when you are not given the actual value but you are given the ratios, just assume the total of the values should be 100 and just divide this 100 into the ratio. Then you can solve these kind of questions easily further. Now suppose you have the actual values. These are 20, 30 and 50. These are the actual values. I'm just going to write here these again. Suppose these the actual salary of A is 20, of B is 30, of C is 50. They have got the increment of 15%, 10% and 20%. Just make that, okay, because I have already taught you, if there is an addition in the value for a specific percentage, suppose the value is X, if the increment is 15%, what you have to do, X plus 15% of X. Then you can easily find the new value. The new value can easily be arrived at. So just you solve it. 20 plus 15% of 20, that means 20 divided by multiplied by 15 divided by 100. And in the same way, 10% of 10% increment is given to B. So here should be 10% of 30. In the same way, 20% increment is given to C. You can write here like 20% of 50. Now you just have to solve this equation. Okay, solving this equation, you get the value of 20% of 15 should be equal to 3. Okay, that should be equal to 3. 10% of 30 should be equal to 3. Then 20% of 50 should be equal to 10. Now new values can be arrived at. Okay, so this is 20 plus 3, this is 23. 30 plus 3, this is 33. 50 plus 10, this is 60. So their new ratios should be 23, ratio 33, ratio 60. You can easily know by just having a simple look that these three values cannot be further divided into with the help of a single table. And if this cannot be divided, then ultimately means that this is the last ratio which cannot be further divided. So this is the last and final ratio. So 23, 33 and 60 should be our right answer. That has been given in option D, and we shall select it as our possible answer. I hope you would have understood the idea of solving these kind of questions. These are not very difficult, but what you have to do, you have to arrive at a specific mathematical equation. Once you have arrived at that equation, you can easily solve any kind of question. Now just going to move further. This is going to be question number 5. So we have been given with a statement. We see what is there. It is saying that if 120, so 120 is the total value. If 120 are divided among A, B and C, so there are 3 persons, A, B and C, and 120 are divided between them, and it is divided in a way such that A's share is 20 more than B's share. Okay, so what does A get? A get what B get plus 20. So this is what A gets. Okay, this is what A gets. and 20 less than C. Okay, so this has been given. He gets 20 less than C. So this is that is the complete equation. So we have been given that A gets 20 more than B and 20 less than C. 20 less than C. Okay, so this is all about that. With these two equations, we can easily we can find actually what A gets more than B and less than C. So here we know that A gets 20 more than B. Okay, and 20 less than C. By just listening to what I have said right now, what you can get that A's share. Okay, so if we are if we know that A's share is 20 more than B. Okay, this is all about that. And if we add 20 more than 20 more in that, then we get the share of C. Then we can get the share of C. So that should be your equation. Understand this, how I have made. Okay, understand this. I have not solved this question before. I'm just making as I'm reading this line. I'm just going to write all these again. Okay, so we have been given that A's share is 20 more than B and 20 less than C. 20 less than C. So it's more than B and less than C. So A's share is greater than B, but this is lesser than C, and this is greater than B by 20 and lesser than C by 20. So we can easily write that the C's share should be equal to B plus 20 plus 20, because that refers to addition of 20 and 20 in the value of A. So we can write here like that. Okay, so now we know that A's share is equal to B plus 20 and C's share is equal to B plus 20 plus 20. We know that. And B's share, we know that this is B. This is B's share is equal to B, because nothing has been given regarding that. And in the question we have been asked that what is the share of B. So this question has been asked to us. So in this way, what you have to do, you have to reduce the mathematical equation to a single variable, to all the equations in which only single variable is left. You can easily see that only one variable is there. This is B in all these three equations. I am again going to write that we have been given that 120 should be divided between A, B and C in a way that A's share is 20 more than B and 20 less than C. So, and in total, it should be 120. That means A's share plus B's share plus C's share. That should be in total 120. A's share we already know. That should be B plus 20. B's share we already know that is B. And C's share we have already arrived at. This is B plus C, B plus 20 plus 20. That these should all be equal to 120. Now you can see that there is the value of 3B plus 60. If we solve this equation, I am not going to solve because I think right now you are able to solve this. You are appearing in this examination. This is the final equation left with us. We can easily write like 3B should be equal to 120 minus 60. We are left with 3B is equal to 60. And in this way, if we take B to the left hand side, we can easily find the value of B, and that comes to be equal to 20. So the amount B receives should be 20. So this is 20 has been given in the option B. So we shall select it as our possible answer. You can verify this answer as well, because A is receiving 20 more than B. So that means A is receiving 40, B is receiving 20, and A was receiving 20 less than C. So if we add 20 in this 40, that should be the share of C. and if we make total of these three, that comes to be 120. So in this way you can verify, cross verify this kind of question as well. So I hope you were able to answer, you were able to comprehend this specific question to the best of your knowledge. Now I'm just going to move further and going to see what is there in the next question to us. So in this question number 6, what has been given to us, that we read it and then we try to solve this question and we see what is there for us. So it says that a man invests 1/3 of his income at 7%, 1/4 at 8%, and a remainder of his income at 10%. So he has invested his income in three portions. Okay, 1/3, 1/4, and remaining. First of all, we have to find what are the levels of his investment. So he has made three investment number one, investment number second, and investment number third. So we have to find how much investment he has made, because in the last he has made the investment of remainder of his income, and we do not know the exact percentage or proportion of that that investment. The first is 1/3 of his income, the second one is 1/4 his income, and the last we don't know, but we can find, because we already know that the initial two are 1/3 and 1/4. We can assume that his total income was 1 rupee. His total income was 1 rupee. Just add the previously given investment, and these are 1/3 plus 1/4. So if we take the LCM of 3 and 4, then we get here the value of 7 divided by 12. So this is the total investment in the first two investment options. And what is the proportion in the third? Now we can easily find that. Let the total income was 1 rupee, and we know he has already made investment of 7 divided by 12. Then that means if we are taking the LCM of 12, then that means that he has invested 5 divided by 12 of his investment. The remainder income was 5 divided by 12, that he has invested at the rate of 10%. So I can write all these again like this. Okay, the first investment is 1/3 of his income at the rate of 7%. The second is 1/4 at the rate of 8%. And the last is 5th divided by 12 at the rate of 10%. He has made the investment. So this is the capital, this is the capital, this is the earning rate. This is the capital, this is the earning rate, this is the capital, this is the earning rate. So exact value of capital we don't know, and in the question we have been given that what is the value of initial capital. The initial value we don't know, but we know that these are the different proportions in which the investment has been made. So if these proportions are multiplied by a single constant value or a variable, then we can easily find the value of the capital. So we can multiply this 1 divided by 3rd with x, 1 divided by 4 with x, 1 divided by 5 with x. So this is the capital, this is the proportion of capital invested at the rate of 7%. In the same way, this is the proportion of capital invested at the rate of 8%. In this way, this is the proportion of capital invested at the rate of 10%. So these are investment. So we have been given that the total profit was 561 from all these investment. So you know that the formula for profit is very simple. Just multiply initial capital with percentage rate of profit. Initial capital we know this is that, and rate we know this is given with all the figures. Now we can easily solve this question. I am going to tell you how. So you know that when capital is multiplied by rate of a profit, you can get the profit earned with the specific investment. So 1/3 multiplied by x multiplied by 7 divided by 100. So it shall produce you the profit of the first from the first investment. In the same way, you can write 1 divided by 4 multiplied by x multiplied by 8 divided by 100. It shall give you the profit from the second investment. And in the same way, you can write 5 divided by 12 multiplied by x multiplied by 10 divided by 100. It shall produce you the value of the profit from the third investment. But we know that we have been given with the total profit 161. That means this is the plus of all the profits. That means that should be the plus of all these values. We can write the very easy mathematical equations on the basis of this conclusion, and I am going to write here now. So we can write x divided by 3 multiplied by 7 divided by 100. So that should be the value of first profit. So there should be the sign of addition. Then we can write x divided by 4 multiplied by 8 divided by 100. So this is the second profit. We can easily write similarly like 5x divided by 12 multiplied by 10 divided by 100. And these should all be equal to 561. This is all the mathematical equation. I hope that the value of x you know now, where we have taken this from. Like the first investment was 1/3. So if we multiplied by this by x, we can get the value of x divided by 3. In the same way, the first investment was 1/4 multiplied by x. We can write this like x divided by 4. In the same way, third investment was 5 divided by 12 multiplied by x. We can write here like this like 5x divided by 12. Okay, so in this way, we have written the profits of all the elements. So you can reduce these to their minimum terms, and I'm just going to reduce these. 8 can be divided with the help of 4, and if we reduce this further, we can get the value of 50. In the same way, we can do this for the other values as well. Okay, we can simply write it like that. So in this way, I have just cut these figures as well. So here is 5 x divided by 12 and multiplied by 1 divided by 10. So now if we solve this further, we can get to know that we get the value of 7x divided by 300 plus x divided by 50 plus 5x divided by 5x divided by 120, and that should all be equal to 561. So now what we have to do, the x variable is all given on the numerators, but in the denominator, all the figures are different. So we shall take their LCM, and if we take their LCM, then we can get that their LCM comes to be 600, because 600 can be divided with these all figures 350 and 120. And if we are solving this again, then we can write here, because we have taken the LCM, so that we have to change the numerators as well. So it should be multiplied by 2. X should be multiplied by 12, and 5x should be multiplied by it should be multiplied by 5. How I have got this 2, 12 and 5, that I think you are aware with the formulas of LCM, because 300 can divide 600 with the help of 2. That's why 2 have been written here. We know that 50 can divide 600 by the value of 12. That's why we have written here 12. We know that 120 can divide 600 with 5. So that's why we have written here 5. And the total value should be 561. Now you can solve this further. Okay. How we can solve this? 7x multiplied by 2 should be equal to 14x. And that should be equal to 12x. And that should be equal to 25x divided by 600. and that should all be equal to 561. In the same way, we can write here like if we plus all these signs, because variable x is similar to all, this is 14 plus 12 26 plus 12 51. So 51x should divided by 600 should be equal to 561. If we take x to the left hand side and take the remaining things to the right hand side, we can write here like 561 multiplied by 600 divided by 51. You can see that 561 can be divided with the table of a 51 with the value of 11. And if we reduce that, we can easily multiply 600 with this, the value of 11. We get the value of 6,600. That means that was the value of x. And if you remember, we took x as the initial capital investment. So 6,600 should be our right answer, and that has been given in option A. So we shall select it as our possible answer. So in this way, you can solve these kind of questions. I hope you would have enjoyed this question, and you would have understood this completely. Now just going to move further. This is going to be question number 7th. This question reads as, when 8% of a number is added to the number itself, the result is 810. What is the number? So we assume that the number is x. We have been given when the 8% of a number is added to this number is at itself. So if we are adding 8% of x, 8% of x, and it produces the value of 810. This is the equation given to us. We can solve this very easily. We can write x plus 8% of x means 8x divided by 100. Okay, so this is with us. So that is given to us. We can write here like 810. So this is the equation given to us. So how we can solve this further? So that thing we have to understand. What we do is we can reduce 8 divided by 100 to their simplest term with the table of 2, I think. If we do that, we get this value. This is 2 and 25. Okay, so this is the value we have got. So we are left with x plus 2x divided by 25 is equal to 810. We can take the LCM of 25, then we get the value of 25x plus 2x divided by 25 is equal to 810. So we can easily solve this now. This is 26x, and we can take this 25 to the right hand side. That comes to be in multiplication with 810, and we can write it like this. And if we take x to the left hand side only, we take 27 to the right hand side, we can write this equation as this as well. You can see that the 81 can be reduced with the table of 27, and if we reduce that, we get the value of 30, and when 30 is multiplied to 25, then we can get the value of 750, and 750 is the original number that we have assumed at the starting of this question. So 750 has been given in the option B, so we shall select it as our possible answer. I hope you would have understood this question by now, and there would not be any problem in understanding this specific equation. Now I'm just going to move further, and this is going to be the question number 8. Okay, so this is the question. So we read it, and after that we see what is there for us and how we can solve this question further. So it has been given that 2 students gave an examination. So there are 2 students. Okay, one of them scored 9 marks more than others. So this is the equation actually. So if there are A and B, suppose B has received X marks in the examination, then the A has got X plus 9 because he has got 9 more marks than B. So this is how you should start making mathematical expression. So one of them has scored 9 marks more than other, and his marks were 56% of the sum of a total of both their marks. Okay, so this is the final equation. So whatever the total marks they have got, marks of A plus marks of B. So if we find 56% of the total marks of both, then this is the individual marks of A only. So this is given to us. So now we are just going to solve this equation. Okay, again I am going to read this question. It has been given to us that two students gave an examination. One of them scored 9 marks more than other, and his marks were 56% of the sum total of both their marks. So we know that B has received uh, X marks and A has received X plus 9 marks. But we have been given one additional condition, that the marks of A are equal to 56% of total marks of both A and B. So we can easily solve this question. That means we are given that X plus 9 is equal to 56% of X plus 9 plus X. So in this way you can make the mathematical equation. I'm just going to give its explanation again. So this is the marks of A. We are given that his marks are 56%. That means his marks are 56% of total marks of both. So total marks should be marks of A plus marks of B. So in this way the equation has been made. Now easily you can solve this question. I'm going to solve this for you. We can write like X plus 9 should be equal to 56 multiplied by 100 divided by 100 multiplied by X plus 9 plus X. So this, in this way we can write this equation. So if we are solving this, we can write like we can write this like, we can take 100 to this side, then we shall multiply 100 with this left hand side values, and we shall multiply 56 with the right hand side given values. So we can write it 2x plus 9. Okay, so if we solve this, if we solve all these equation, then what we find the value like this is 100x plus 900, and this is 56 multiplied by 2 should be equal to 112. 112 plus X plus 56 multiplied by 9, and that should be, I think if I multiply 56 by 9, I think I should get the value of I should get the value of just this is 504. 504 should be the value here. So we can just take the value with variable X to one side and the other values to the other side. So 900 minus 504 should be equal to 112 minus 100. So if we solve this further, I think by reducing 900, the value of 504, then we get the value of 396. That should be equal to 12x, I think. And if we solve this further, then we can get the value of X, that comes to be equal to 396 divided by 12. And if we reduce this further, we get the value of 33. That means the value of X, that means the value of the scores of B should be 33. And if these are for B 33, then these for A should be 42, because A got 9 more marks than B. So both of their marks should be 42 and 33. So 42 and 33 has been given in option A. So we shall select it as our possible answer. So in this way I solved this equation as well, and I hope you would have understood this completely. Now we are just going to move further, and I am going to tell you what is next there with us. This is going to be the question number 9th. So this question is saying us what fraction is equal to 0.08%. So we know 0.08%. We can write this like this as well, 0.8 divided by 100. And if we just get away With this point figure, we can write this equation as this as well. 8 divided by 10 multiplied by 100. So 0.8% should be equal to 8 divided by 10 multiplied by 100. So it should be this as well. Okay. So now what we have to do, we have been given that what fraction is equal to this. So we have to reduce this value to its simplest terms, and finding the simplest term is not that much difficult. I have already taught you in the previous lectures. So for that you have to find a table at which both the numerator and the denominator values can be easily divided. So that table is 4. We know that the 4 can divide 8 as well, and 4 can divide 100 as well. We can divide this. If we divide 8 by 4, we get the value of 2, and if we divide 100 by 4, we get the value of 25. In the same way, we can make the conclusion that we can divide 10 with a table of 2 as well. We can easily write here 5. So at the numerator, we have received the value of 1. At the denominator, we have to multiply 25 by 5. This is 125. So this is the simplest form of 0.08%. And 1 divided by 125 has been given in the option A. So we shall select it as our possible answer. So in this way, I have solved 9 regular questions from these chapters. And I think this is going to be the last one now. And after that, we shall be finishing with this specific thing. And I think the last question is somewhat typical. And now I'm going to rate this. I'm going to solve this equation completely. This is saying that a vehicle has an insurance of 4/5 of its original value. It has been given that insurance value is equal to original value multiplied by 4 divided by 5. So this is the first equation number first. So this is given that a value has insurance of 4 divided by 5 of its original value. That has been given to us. You can easily write that insurance value is equal to original value multiplied by 4 divided by 5. So this has been given to us. Okay, now we can now we read further and we see what is there. So premium on the vehicle is at the rate of 1.3% to the amount of 910 rupee. Okay, so this is given to us. So what does it mean? When you multiply insurance value with the specific percentage, this is 1.3, that produces you the value of premium, and that is 910 rupee. So this is the second equation. So from these equation, you can easily go further. We have been asked in the examination to find what is the original value of the vehicle. So original value is here. So by solving this equation, we shall get the value of insurance value. And once we get this value, we can easily find the original value. I must tell you how. So with the help of a second equation, I can get the value of insurance. Insured values. How I can get this? This is 910 divided by 1.3, and I am just getting away with the decimal point. I am writing here 100 and writing here 10. 100 for specifying the percentage, and 10 for just getting away with the point figure. We can easily see that we can divide 91 with a table of 13, and if we divide that, we get the value of 7, and that comes to be 0 as well, because 0 is also given. So if we solve this equation, we get the value of 70,000. So 70,000 is the insurance value, and we have already seen in the first equation that the insurance value is 4/5 of the original value. That means I'm writing here 70,000 should be 4/5 of the original value. If we take this 4/5 to the left hand side, we can easily get the original value. So the original value should be equal to 70,000 multiplied by 5 divided by 4. And if we do that, I can easily solve this 70,000 at the table of 4, because just let me solve it. I think I am getting 1, then 30 is left, then 7 can be there. Okay, 7 can be, then 5 can be there, then 0 can be there, 0 can be there. Okay, so 17,500 should be the value, and when it is multiplied by with 5, we get the value of 87,500. So this was the original value of the vehicle, and that has been given in option C, and that is why we shall select it as our answer. So in this way, I have explained you so many questions from this chapter, and I think now that is much more than sufficient for you. Now you would have understood that how the percentages are solved, how the proportions are solved, and how the mathematical equations are made. So I hope you would have enjoyed this. And regarding the next lecture, if we take this today, if we record this today, then we shall be informing you, because nowadays I am in the position that I record so many lectures so that you get everything on timely basis, because the very so not a good kind of decision has been taken by the institute to take the to prepone the examination. So this is why we are just moving further and further. Regarding the next lecture, we shall be intimating you. I hope you would have enjoyed this. This was Gurpal Singh from Gursur Education. Thank you so much for joining me.